Horchata!
I do love the hardcore focus on Nintendo as a company recently. I mean, it doesn't absolve what other companies are doing. Sony, or especially Microsoft, who raised the price of their console, and just today raised the price of Game Pass. Lots of companies give you plenty of reasons to hate them. But I haven't seen this much hatred of one company since Microsoft with the Xbox One. Granted, I mean, the console's flying off shelves, so a few YouTube videos shouldn't really mean anything, and yet they are so effective. So many Nintendo guys get pissed off at us, as if they come to seek validation. Hear one good thing about Nintendo from a channel like mine. You ain't gonna get it.
What? I'm not going to sit down until you say something nice to me for once in your life.
Your hair looks small.
You've tuned into the wrong place. I mean, if you want toxic positivity, I can name you a bajillion Nintendo channels that at one point didn't exist because Nintendo didn't allow them to, and now they exist to worship Nintendo, who didn't allow them to exist in the first place.
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
The relationship between Nintendo guys and their corporate overlords is quite a confusing one. You would figure after trying to make it so that content creators couldn't upload a single bit of Nintendo related videos without paying Nintendo a fee before they inevitably scrap that Nintendo would be seen as the biggest enemy. But no, they're being defended, and not just by content creators. It's much worse than that. As the Nintendo and Pocket Pair lawsuit continues to heat up, with more info being spilled than beer on my keyboard, it's quite important to remember there are people in the gaming industry rooting for Nintendo. And it's important that we call them out and put them on the spot, because when it comes to Capcom specifically, the fact that they think that they have any right to even hold an opinion like that really puts into question how disconnected are gamers from the industry that creates the products they buy. Well, let's just say it's definitely a lot more disconnected than the average Nintendo Switch 2 online lobby. Former Capcom designer Yoshiki Okamoto sparks backlash in Japan by saying Palworld has crossed a line that should not be crossed.
We will hold the line! Hold the line!
Funny, isn't it? These lines don't exist until the big AAA companies like Nintendo and Capcom are the ones that get fucked with. You ever notice that? You ever notice that Capcom never says sorry when they cross a line between the consumer and their shitty business practices, or Nintendo, or how much they have blatantly ripped off other companies? You know, there's no line there. But then along comes this indie developer who makes a record-breaking game by outdoing the big top AAA developers, and all of a sudden, a line was crossed. One that has apparently existed and we never knew. We're just finding out now because the poor AAA company's fifis were hurt. The Nintendo and Pokemon Company's ongoing patent infringement lawsuit against Pocket Pair's Palworld has stirred up much debate among game developers and players alike. However, former Capcom game developer Yoshiki Okamoto's recent YouTube video, I better check that out, in which he made comments seemingly against Pocket Pair and Palworld, has sparked a strong backlash from viewers. Current chairman of the Japan Game Culture Foundation, Yoshiki Okamoto, has worked in the game industry for over 40 years.
Why do old people always have to ruin the fun?
With a varied resume, which includes Street Fighter 2, the first Resident Evil, and hit mobile game Monster Strike. He also created the original concept for what would become Rockstar's Red Dead Revolver.
Why are you f***ing here, man? You're so old. Where's your wife? Go home to your family, dude.
In a YouTube video posted on his channel on September 27th, Okamoto gave his opinions on the ongoing Nintendo versus Pocket Pair lawsuit, saying that Palworld has crossed a line that should not be crossed, and I don't want the world to become a place where this kind of thing is acceptable.
You weak old man.
You see why people have taken a turn on the AAA industry? You see, when they're talking about lines, we know they're not talking about creativity here or original ideas. If the industry had any of those things, we would not be getting our constant Soulsborne clones, or our COD clones, or our PUBG clones. I mean, everybody shamelessly copies each other. That's the gaming industry. And for this Yoshika Okamoto guy to pretend he's also not part of that problem is hilarious to me. It's obvious what he means is the line that was crossed was a financial line. Palworld did what no indie dev is supposed to do, and that is outdo the precious AAA developer who's been around for so long. And because they've been around for so long, their tenure by default means we must respect them. Nah, fuck off. Pokemon's gay, and so is Nintendo. I don't give a fuck if they've been around for over 100 years. I still think they're gay. Later in the video, Okamoto said that if a settlement is reached with Nintendo, then I think Palworld will become a game that is officially fine to play. What?
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things.
However, it is currently a game that's being sued, so it's unacceptable. By playing the game, you are supporting it, so please don't buy it. Suck my dick.
And why don't you go fix a fucking dick or whatever the fuck it is you do?
Which is American/Mexican, while yours is Japanese. So I know by default, mine is 5 times bigger. Yeah, how about you f off, old man, okay? Oh, but Frit, he's made so many games I love. This man is telling you, no, it's not acceptable, and it's immoral to be playing a video game unless the courts deem it's okay, unless a settlement is reached with the billion-dollar Nintendo. This game must have approval from the courts and Big N themselves, and then you can play it, then you can support it. Nah, if anybody ever listened to what a jackass like this says, we wouldn't have Team Fortress, we wouldn't have Counter-Strike, we wouldn't have PUBG, we wouldn't have a shit ton of games. Does he honestly think that just because they're in the middle of a lawsuit, that means Pocket Pair is in the wrong by default? What kind of logic is that? How is it possible that he doesn't think to himself, Nintendo is obviously in the wrong? Go look at Pokemon Legends ZA. Go look at Sword and Shield. Go look at the recent entries. That's a real concern. Not the fact that Palworld exists. Palworld wouldn't even be a problem if Pokemon would step their game up. But either way, that's a whole different discussion. The sheer ignorance coming out of this veteran is astonishing. Never meet your heroes. Thank God he wasn't mine. But how can someone with this many years in the industry say something so foolish? It's unacceptable to play Palworld until they pay Nintendo what they owe them, or until they reach an agreement with Nintendo. Fuck no! That means you're telling us we need Nintendo's approval to play these titles. Fuck you! The last thing I want is for the approval of some billion-dollar corporation. You think that shit matters to us? That only matters in your field, where ass kissing and taking dick from the back is how you keep your job. Of course, the corporate guys are gonna take the side of a corporation, but to hear it coming from this man, now that's painful, because usually I expect this kind of shit from Nintendo fanboys. To hear it from someone who's been in the industry that long, it goes to show you that this problem extends far beyond the corporations with too much free time and money. A lot of it stems from the absolute ass kissers that work for them, like this dude. This comment and his labeling of Pocket Pair is an anti-XXX. Okamoto bleeped out and distorted the last kanji character of the word in both the audio and subtitle in the video, prompted a flood of criticism in the comments, and many did not hold back. The majority of commenters interpreted Okamoto's half-obscure term as hansha, or antisocial force, an abbreviated term often used to describe criminal organizations like the Yakuza. Oh my god. And groups that operate in ways that go against the proper and or legal way of doing things. One commenter pointed out that calling Pocket Pair an antisocial force could be considered defamation, and it absolutely is. The fact that this man is even drawing comparisons to a criminal organization from his homeland is insane. This is what the AAA industry actually feels about gamers like you and me. They think we are comparable to goddamn criminals, because instead of buying their slop, we're buying somebody else's video game. And the reasons are obvious, but they just refuse to accept the fact that you are out of touch. Lots of AA devs, lots of indie devs have taken your place. I know that's a harsh reality to accept, but that is where you adapt. That is where you evolve. You don't resort to calling people who support these products goddamn criminals or antisocial, whatever you want to say. They then added, on the other hand, your argument that people should stop playing games with questionable content because this equates to supporting them is convincing, before announcing that these words made them decide to quit playing Okamoto's Monster Strike after nearly 20 years. Based! I'm honestly, I don't think I'm gonna buy another Capcom game after this jackass. Yes, your words matter. You're directly attacking people like me. Why the fuck am I gonna ever support your titles ever again, you jackass? Not to mention the way you guys released Monster Hunter on PC recently, and then you want to act like you didn't release an unoptimized buggy ass mess. Suck my stick. Other user reactions included, I think assuming something is bad just because it has been sued is wrong, and no matter how much you dislike Pocket Pair and Palworld, calling them antisocial is crossing the line. Indeed, this guy, this guy crossed a line. He crossed a line between the consumers and himself. In an attempt to demonize Pocket Pair, he said that's not enough. Gotta demonize everybody who supports them too. They're irrational, it's unfair, Nintendo is being attacked. Okamoto openly acknowledges that even though people have recommended it to him, he has never actually played Palworld, insisting, I have no intention of playing the game or spending money on it. He pointed out that Palworld had become a divisive topic with people split into fan and hater camps, and confirmed that he is anti-Palworld. Well, there's a 6-letter F word used to describe people like that. I just can't say it. But at the same time, I understand that there are fans out there, he added. Yeah, you know, fans that are just comparable to the Yakuza and other criminal organizations, apparently. Jackass. In the video, Okamoto also expressed concern that if Pocket Pair wins the lawsuit and is able to release the full version of the game, then copyright infringement may be seen as more acceptable. What copyright infringement? What Nothing has been copyrighted. Palworld did not copyright or infringe anything related to Pokemon. They are actively trying to pursue such a lawsuit by patenting things that they didn't patent before. The real abuse is coming from Nintendo. Do you understand that, old man? Horror shit. If a game is perceived as interesting and gets good reviews. He also worried that this could potentially open the floodgates to the hard work of other creators on other Nintendo series like Mario and Zelda being more free and overly copied, especially with the use of generative AI. Oh, boo-hoo. Alternatives to fucking franchises that are so goddamn old, made by old people. Could potentially see other titles similar. Oh no! This isn't a problem with Soulsborne, but if it happens to my dear Mario and Zelda, it's a problem. Fuck off. However, commenters also pointed out that many games have used elements of previous titles made by other companies, noting that this includes games Okamoto worked on. People mentioned how Street Fighter 2 used similar elements to previous fighting games like Year R Kung Fu, and how Monster Strike's UI is similar to Puzzle and Dragons. How can someone who has done things like that speak out against Palworld? Sad One commented. Others pointed out that Okamoto's mention of generative AI risk feeding the false rumor since debunked by Pocket Pair that the developer used AI in the creation of Palworld. That's right. There was no AI used in Palworld. So indeed, it seems he's trying to feed into a false narrative. Referencing the changes made to Palworld mechanics under dispute in the lawsuit, Okamoto predicted that Pocket Pair have worked out some way to settle the matter with Nintendo, which is why it has announced a full official release of the game. However, he noted that there is no information to properly confirm this at this time. The Nintendo Palworld lawsuit, which has been ongoing in Japan since its announcement, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this is all stuff that we've already talked about in previous videos, but you get the point. Not to mention, this guy is clearly an idiot because Palworld is not being sued for copyright infringement because there is none. It's amazing though, isn't it? AAA devs taking a stance for dear old Nintendo, who constantly abuses its own users, abuses the law, blatantly copies and rips off other people's work, and redistributes it. They get all the defense in the world. But Pocket Pair, who has literally done nothing wrong, is seen as the enemy because, again, the AAA devs huddle together, they group in swarms and stick up for each other. It's amazing to see somebody who clearly doesn't even understand what the lawsuit is about try to speak out about it and take the side of the company clearly at fault. It's proof that a lot of Nintendo's defense, a lot of the rhetoric for them, just comes from misguided, misinformed, foolish old men who haven't had relevancy in the industry since the last time their fucking ball sacks worked. I gotta see some of these comments though. But tell me what you think in the comments. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. With that being said, see you in the next video.
Free Congo sucks ass.